What would you do if a rare black panther cub was born during a thunderstorm, and moments later, a stranger laid a lifeless cub at your feet? This mother, Ayani, faced the unthinkable. One cub hers, the other, another mother's dying hope. But instead of fighting, she did something no wild jaguar ever had. She chose love over instinct. And what happened next? It became a legend whispered through the trees. Let's hear the full story. Don't forget to like, follow, and share if you believe in wild love. In the heart of Brazil's Pantanal rainforest, beneath skies torn apart by thunder and rain, a jaguar named Ayani battled through the agony of labor. Lightning danced across the treetops, and the muddy riverbanks trembled with the roar of the storm. Alone in a hollow beneath tangled roots, her breath came in shallow bursts as she clawed at the wet earth, forcing her body to bring forth new life. And then, through a cry that echoed like thunder itself, a miracle. A cub, slick with rain and trembling, slid onto the jungle floor. But Ayani's golden eyes widened with disbelief. This was no ordinary jaguar cub. His fur shimmered jet black, so rare that even the jungle itself seemed to pause. He blinked against the rain, and Ayani leaned in, nuzzling the tiny panther, her heart pounding with instinct and awe. But before the storm could quiet, another figure emerged. A wounded female jaguar, gaunt and bleeding, stumbling into Ayani's den with something in her jaws. A cub, lifeless, soaked in rain. The stranger collapsed at Ayani's feet, eyes hollow, breath ragged. She let out a sound that only another mother could understand. Pure grief. Ayani hesitated only a moment. Then, against every law of the wild, she reached out and pulled the lifeless cub to her side, willing it back to life with her warmth, her breath, her love. What happened next would become a legend whispered beneath the jungle canopy. A tale of defiance, sacrifice, and the birth of a black shadow destined to change everything. By dawn, the storm had softened to a drizzle, dripping gently from the wide leaves above Ayani's hidden den. Curled around her now were not one, but two cubs. The black panther, her own son, whose fur gleamed like obsidian under the filtered light, and the stranger, the one she had pulled back from death. His coat was dusky bronze, streaked with faint scars and tremors still lingering in his tiny limbs. Ayani named them in the quiet way of jaguars: Nyoka, the Dark One, Shadowborn, and Tamu, the Orphan, the Gift. The days that followed were a blur of vigilance and hunger. The jungle, lush as it was, offered no kindness to mothers. Ayani hunted tirelessly, dragging down capybara, sniffing out fallen fruit, fending off the ever-lurking threat of caiman and snakes. Her own body grew lean, her paws blistered from foraging longer than she ever dared before. But still, she returned, always, to the hollow, where two tiny faces blinked up at her with innocence and trust. Then came the scent that chilled her blood. Humans. Strange metal, sweat, and fire drifting through the trees. One evening, while returning with prey, Ayani spotted them, men with nets and tranquilizer guns, whispering, tracking. Nyoka's rare coat had caught their attention. She froze. Her instinct screamed to vanish, to abandon the den, but her heart thundered louder. Ayani didn't run. She hid, waited, watched. Because now she wasn't just a jaguar. She was a mother of two, and nothing would take them from her. The jungle had turned against them. The once familiar trails were now marked with strange scents: gasoline, gunpowder, sweat. Human voices echoed through the trees, and Ayani knew the predators now stalking her cubs walked on two legs. With no choice left, she fled. In the dead of night, Ayani cradled the cubs, Nyoka, her black-coated son, strong and alert, and Tamu, the weaker one, still trembling from his resurrection. She carried them across razor-sharp roots, over slick stones, weaving through the tangled labyrinth of undergrowth. But ahead loomed her greatest challenge yet, a swollen river, angry with the storm's runoff, its surface snarling with white water and jagged debris. Behind her, flashlights flickered through the trees. They were close, too close. Ayani did not hesitate. With a growl torn from her soul, she lunged into the torrent, Nyoka clinging to her back, Tamu held tightly in her jaws. The current seized her, dragging them beneath its surface. Her muscles burned, lungs screamed. A rock struck her flank. She lost her grip on Tamu. He vanished beneath the foam. With a surge of primal strength, she dove. Her jaws snapped, found fur. Breaking the surface with both cubs alive, Ayani clawed her way to the far bank, collapsing in the mud, heaving. Above, the stars broke through the clouds, but behind them, the jungle still pulsed with danger. And ahead, only more shadows. But Ayani didn't care. They had made it. Now they would keep moving, until no man could ever find them again. Hidden beneath the twisted roots of a towering fig tree, Ayani curled around her two cubs, Nyoka, her black-coated miracle, and Tamu, the fragile gift she'd brought back from the brink. The den was dark, damp, and tight, but it was safe, for now. Outside, the jungle dripped with heat and warning. Predators lurked. Men wandered too close. Ayani rarely left, slipping out only under cover of night to scavenge scraps, fallen fruit, half-eaten kills left by careless hunters. Her ribs began to show. Her breath grew shallow. Still, she gave every drop of strength to her young. Nyoka thrived, bold, curious, fierce, but Tamu faded. His small body shivered more each night. His breaths came in weak puffs. His legs, once twitching with promise, now barely stirred. Ayani licked him constantly, murmured soft growls that only a mother could understand. She pressed her warmth against his fading heart. But the jungle gives no favors to the fragile. One night, as frogs sang lullabies and mist slithered over the earth, Tamu stopped moving. Ayani stayed beside him for hours, her massive head lowered in silent vigil. Nyoka, sensing the shift in the air, nestled close. At dawn, Ayani lifted Tamu gently in her jaws and carried him through the forest to a mossy grove. She dug with trembling paws and laid him to rest beneath the earth. No cries, no roars, just a silence so deep it hurt. And then Ayani turned, her black cub by her side. One life lost, one left to protect at all costs. The jungle no longer felt safe. Ayani could smell them before she saw them, humans. Their scent clung to the leaves like smoke, rubber, sweat, metal. They came not with claws, but with cameras, cages, and quiet intentions that stank of disruption. Word had spread. A black panther cub had been seen. And now, drawn by greed or curiosity, they came to claim him. Ayani crouched low, her ears twitching. Her adopted cub, Tamu, slept curled at her side, frail but warm. Nyoka, her black-furred son, peeked through the underbrush with wide, curious eyes, his coat gleaming like obsidian under the filtered light. A twig snapped. Ayani froze. Through the ferns, she saw khaki uniforms, lenses, tranquilizer rifles glinting beneath the canopy. One man raised his arm, pointing. At Nyoka. A flash of instinct exploded through Ayani. With a roar that tore through the silence, she lunged from the shadows, teeth bared, body surging like thunder through the underbrush. The men shouted, startled, backing off, stumbling. Cameras dropped. Nets fell. Ayani didn't wait. She grabbed Tamu in her jaws, Nyoka clinging to her side, and vanished into the green. Deeper, wilder, away from roads and maps and human reach. The forest closed behind her like a curtain. Breath ragged, paws bleeding, she ran until the only sound was the whisper of leaves and her cub's tiny breaths beside her. Ayani would not let them be taken. Not today, not ever. Dawn broke over the Pantanal like fire through fog, and Ayani could run no further. Her paws bled. Her breath rattled. Nyoka, her black-coated son, stayed close, but even his steps had slowed. The jungle had protected them for weeks, but now it closed in with hunger, with danger. The scent of man was everywhere: sweat, oil, smoke, and in it, a crueler undertone: gunpowder. The poachers were closing in. Ayani crouched low near a shallow ravine, her body curled protectively around Nyoka. She could hear the murmurs, see the flicker of movement. Traps, men, guns. Then, something unexpected. A whistle, low and deliberate. From the trees emerged a man, not like the others. His uniform was stained with mud, his eyes scanning the underbrush with urgency and care. Raphael, a wildlife ranger, had followed the Black Panther sightings not to capture, but to protect. He'd heard rumors of illegal trackers in the region. And now, face to face with the legendary jaguar and her cub, he made his choice. He didn't raise his rifle. He raised his voice. "Stay back!" he barked, not at Ayani, but at the men stalking her. Two camouflaged poachers emerged, startled, then furious. A standoff. The jungle held its breath. Raphael stepped forward slowly, arms wide. "This is protected land," he growled. "You'll leave now, or you'll answer to the law." Tension cracked like thunder. But something in Raphael's stance, solid, unyielding, shifted the air. The poachers cursed, turned, and vanished into the trees. Ayani didn't run. She stood, watching, breathing, and Raphael, his voice now soft, whispered, "You're safe." He cleared a path, scattering brush and blocking scent trails. For hours, he followed at a distance, guiding them to a safer part of the reserve, where poachers dared not tread. And when Ayani finally disappeared into the green, Nyoka by her side, Raphael smiled. Because sometimes, the wild doesn't need to be tamed. It just needs someone brave enough to guard it.